Hello friends, welcome to this YouTube video program. Friends, today we'll discuss one of the very recent development in India in the field of education. That is the National Education Policy, the notification of the National Education Policy 2020. Friends, you might be aware about this development that just before few days the central cabinet, central ministry has finally approved the National Education Policy 2020, and this is an opportunity before us that after you can say 34 years, the last education commission that's called as National Education Policy, that is National Policy on Education 1986. So after 86, this is the National Education Policy 2020. This is the next education policy, and you can say after 34 years, then today we have got this education policy. And if you consider the revised National Policy on Education, or you can say the program of action of National Policy on Education 1986, that is program of action in 1992. So after 28 years, we are getting a full-fledged education commission. So friends, now across the academia, across the institutions, intellectuals, you will find that a discussion has already been initiated. The faculty in the educational institutions, teachers, and people from different professional backgrounds. So they have started discussion, and this is a very beautiful thing for this country that finally we have got our National Education Policy 2020, and this policy will way forward and take this nation towards its development, towards its progress, towards its progression. You'll find that many things which is included in this policy, that is really very practical in sense, means that can be practically implemented, and further a time frame is given that certain programs just like in teacher education and other areas, the school education also, what should be the nature of programs, what type of curriculum should be there, what type of pedagogical treatment should be given to the teachers. Okay, so you will find that elaborately such things are discussed in this commission. This National Education Policy 2020, this has been chapterized, the detailed document that has been chapterized in different parts, just like the first part is school education, then second part is higher education, then third part is that is the other key areas of focus. Here this professional education, adult and lifelong learning, then promotion of Indian language, arts and culture, then technology use and integration. Such things are discussed under part 3, that is other key areas of focus. Then further making it happen, it means this is a major aspect that many a time you see the education committees and commissions after submitting their report, you'll find that the recommendation that has been given in different committees and commissions, never it got implemented 100%. You will find that many aspects of the commission, many aspects of the recommendation of different commissions, still that has not been implemented. But here this is a good thing that a dedicated chapter in this National Education Policy document that has been given in chapter 4, that is making it happen, how to implement different aspects, how to implement different recommendations that has been given in the policy, that has also discussed in one chapter, the implementation aspect. So friends, today what we will do, we will discuss some of the very important aspect, very important part of this commission that covers the introduction as well as you can say the principles of this policy. So what are the basic principles based upon this the National Education Policy 2020 has given its recommendations, and further the life of a education commission or a national policy is not for few years. Okay, so just like I was telling, after 1986 we got a full-fledged national education policy in 2020 after 34 years. Okay, then so this policy, it may work for this country, it may implement very soon, it will be implemented, but you will find that this may continue for another decade. So that's why the development of education, the development of different sector of education, you can say in teacher education, in agriculture, in science and technology, in other areas of education. Okay, and this also you can say depends upon this commission may the major aim of this commission may be you can say for making India as a developed society, as a developed community, a developed country. So that's why one shouldn't take this commission lightly. This commission, you can say when it will implement, you will find that there will be a paradigm shift so far as school education is concerned, higher education is concerned, teacher education is concerned. At the same time, in agricultural, professional and other education is concerned, and you will find that for implementing this commission, different sections, just like for implementing this commission, you will find in the coming days NCERT will come forward with the national another NCF, National Curriculum Framework for School Education. Means after 2005 we do not have a national curriculum framework. NCERT was waiting to this national education policy. So as per the recommendation of national education policy, so how to implement it practically, how to frame a curriculum and how to implement that curriculum, how to develop the norms and standards, you will find that NCERT will work for developing the school education standard, norms and standard, at the same time curriculum and textbooks. And you will find the NCT, National Council for Teacher Education, may again come forward, may come out with a new regulation as per this recommendation of National Education Policy 2020. So friends, let us try to discuss some of the very basic principles, important principles, basing upon this this education National Education Policy 2020 that has been reported. First, we can just discuss the fundamental principles. So the first principle we can discuss that recognizing, identifying and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. So friends, you see the students, those are coming to the school, those are coming to the system of education in the teaching learning process. You will find that they have enough capabilities, they have enough ability. What we talk in the constructivist approach of teaching and learning process. Okay, so every child is having their attitude, interest. At the same time, they have many experiences in their life. So when they are coming to the school, so they should get a type of environment in the school. They should get a type of you can say good school complex, so that the experiences that they have received in their life should be used, and their capabilities, their aptitude should be utilized, and they should blossom to be a functional ability. Okay, means it should not means the aptitude should not be as it is. Rather, from the aptitude, it should be convert as a full-fledged ability. So that's why fostering the unique capabilities of each child is one of the guiding principle, or one of the you can say fundamental principle of this national education policy. And you will find that for realizing this principle, a certain recommendation has been given so far as school and higher education is concerned. Then further we can discuss that you can say according the highest priority to achieve fundamental literacy and numeracy by all students by grade 3. It means, you see, here the importance is given upon the achieving fundamental literacy and numeracy. You will find that earlier the National Council, NCERT, National Council for Educational Research and Training, they have conducted the National Achievement Survey, National Assessment Survey. So this has been realized that the standard 4th, standard 5th students, they have not achieved the minimum level of learning in mathematics and languages and other subject areas. Means the minimum knowledge of language, minimum knowledge of mathematics that one should achieve in standard 4, in standard 5th, they have not achieved. Okay, nationally they have not achieved. So that's why this is one of the very important aspect that when a child is coming to the system of formal education, so they should achieve the minimum standard of knowledge which is prescribed, which is fixed, and which is given in a particular standard. Okay, so the curriculum that has been defined for a particular standard, that curriculum should be achieved by the students at that standard. So that is one of the important aspect, guiding principle of designing, developing this National Education Policy 2020. Then further we can focus upon the flexibility so that the learners have the ability to choose their learning, you can say trajectories and programs, and thereby choose their own path in life according to their talents and interests. So you see, rigidness in the system of education, in the system of schooling, in the system of our educational discourses should not be maintained. Rather, you can say every child, every student should given flexibility in terms of, you can say, choosing one subject, flexibility in terms of doing activities, flexibility in terms of using teaching methods, using teaching techniques, using teaching strategies, innovations in teaching and learning. So that's why for providing flexibility in the teaching learning process, you will find that many recommendations have been given that how the young citizens, how the young students can pursue their education, can pursue their study with the subjects in which they have interest. Then further you will find that this has also been recommended that no hard separation between arts and science, between curricular and extracurricular activities, between vocational and academic streams, etc. So this is one of the very major aspect. You will find that certain recommendations are given. So here you see no hard separations of arts and science. So I think you are aware about the choice-based credit system, CBCS. So in CBCS you will find that a flexibility is given, in the curriculum in different degrees, just like in the UG and PG. A student who is doing a graduation program or a post-graduation program should get an opportunity, should get a space, should get a scope to select a subject, to select a paper from different discipline if they are interested to study. Means a arts student can study a course, a paper from a multidisciplinary background. Accordingly, a management student can also, they should get an opportunity to study a paper, to study a subject, to study a course of their interest, of their passion, from other areas of knowledge, from other discipline, from multidisciplinary areas. So that's why here such things are given. Importantly, this has been discussed in this National Education your policy 2020, that there should not be hard separation between arts and science, between curricular and extracurricular activities. Friends, this has also mentioned in NCF 2005 that every activities that we conduct in the teaching learning process are part of scholastic activities. So there should not be a hard separation between scholastic activities and co-scholastic activities, or you can say that which is mentioned here in the policy, that is the curricular activities and extracurricular activities. So nothing is extracurricular activities, you can say. So every extracurricular activities, every co-scholastic activities is the part of the scholastic activities. Okay, so it's the part of the core experience that the child gets from the teaching learning process, from the schooling. Okay, so that's why here also a clear guidelines has been given that no hard separation between the curricular and the extracurricular activities which is performed in the school. Then further, no hard separation between a vocational and academic stream. So friends, in our country you must have experienced that we have many faculty of education, we have many branches of education. Okay, we have just made it separated from we call it is general education, it is professional education, this is vocational education, this is general education, this is technical education, and this is general education. But here this has been properly taken care in this education policy, that vocational education should not be highly distinguished, or you cannot it should not be hardly separate from the academic discipline, or from the you can say that is your academic streams. Means the students who are studying at the graduation level, maybe in Bachelor of Arts, maybe Bachelor of Science, maybe Bachelor of Commerce, BA or BSc or BCom, you will find that the skills that they are acquiring, the skills that they are getting from their program, from their undergraduate program, that skill should help them for leading a professional life, for leading, you can say, a vocational life. So that's why though there is the practices of different vocation, okay, the rigid skill developments are done, the necessary skill developments are done in the vocational streams. At the same time, even in the general program, in the general academic program, the program should be designed in such a way so that the necessary skills which is inherited, which is a part of that discipline, that should be incorporated in the program, so that there should not be a hard separation between a vocational discipline and an academic stream. So this has been properly taken care of in this national education policy. Then further you will find that this has also been discussed, that emphasis on you can say conceptual understanding rather than rote learning. So you see, you must have experienced, if you are a teacher you must have observed it, and if you are a student you must have observed that you remember your school days, remember your secondary education, your senior secondary education and higher education. You will find that many a time the students are developing they are not studying the curriculum, the text and the courses that has been given in a particular standard rigorously. Rather, just before the examination they were preparing themselves, just that they were developing rote memory. Okay, they were developing, cramming certain things and just reproducing it in the examination and getting a suitable grade. Okay, so they were happy with an average grade by appearing the exam with rote memory, without understanding, without a proper comprehension, without developing certain skill, without the skill of critical analysis of the content, of the facts, of the evidences that has been given in the curriculum, in the text. So that's why here a proper care has been taken that how to design our curriculum so that the students they will go for a you can say detailed study. They will develop their knowledge, they will develop a proper understanding of different contents, of different subject, of different theories that has been discussed in a curriculum. They will not develop a rote memory just for the sake of examination. Okay, so friends, very beautiful things that has been discussed in the initial sections of this document, National Education Policy. And these are the fundamental principles. Basing upon these principles, you will find that the huge policy and the huge document that has been designed. So in our next program, we'll discuss the rest of the fundamental principles. So in this program, we just discuss a few of the guiding principles, few of the fundamental principles. Thank you.